Hey, homeschool friends. So I feel like the first month or so of homeschool always tends to go a bit rocky. I don't know if I'm the only one, but it always just takes a while for things to kind of smooth out, even out, for like routines to really be a little bit more established. And so I'm planning to do these monthly updates of our homeschool, and I'm guessing this one's probably going to be the one that has the most changes. So stay tuned to hear kind of what I've switched up and what we're going with, because we have definitely found a really good groove. So hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to my channel if you're new here, or welcome back if you've been coming for a while. I homeschool 4 kiddos now. It's mostly the top 2, and then I have twin preschoolers. I'm hoping to keep these updates really pretty informal, just to kind of catch up on what's going on in our homeschool and what's changed. So I think I'm going to organize it like just general life updates, family subjects, my second grader, my first grader, and then my twin preschoolers. So as for general life update, nothing really going on, which is always good. Things have gotten a bit busier in comparison to like summertime, but that's only because my big kids have started soccer. So we have soccer practice, soccer games, and then my twins have started their 2 days a week preschool, and then my big kids have started their enrichment school. So I feel like we're just driving to a lot of different things, albeit everything is super close by. Like for instance, the twins preschool is only like 2 blocks away, block and a half. So everything's really close, which is great. The change is that now we have kind of hard deadlines, which we haven't had a lot of in the past. Like we have to be somewhere at a specific time, and that's fine. Like I can roll with it. It just makes life a little bit busier, and I'm juggling a little bit more. And so that's just kind of generally speaking what's going on, but it's all good stuff. So I like all of that. And then family subjects. We are loving Sonlight. So the HBL K is what we chose, which was the American history for my big kids. I'm also doing the Sonlight preschool for my twins, and I'll get to that in just a second, but I'm counting the HBLK that kind of the big kids are doing as more of our family subjects, because the twins listen in on some of the read alouds. So one of the things I really like about the Sonlight HBLK is that it really engages my kids, and they are on the older side of the recommended age group. And actually I think my son is older than what they recommend that program for. But I'm totally okay with it. It feels like they really get it. And I have heard from different Sonlight moms on Facebook groups and stuff like that, that the HBLK is a little bit advanced. And so the fact that I'm not using it for a kindergartner, but a first and second grader, is totally fine with me, because they really like it. Actually, my second grader, even more so than my first grader. It really feels like they understand what's going on, especially in kind of the American history section of the program. So they are really engaged, and I'm really loving the program. And then for my kids' favorite part of the Sonlight HBO is the read alouds. This has been so much fun. And so we read the read alouds for Sonlight during the day, and then we have extra books we read at night. And so far we have read these two, so Dolphin Adventure and Dolphin Treasure. My kids really like these, especially my son, because he realized it was a nonfiction book. It was about a real person, and he really enjoys that. I've heard that about other boys, as nonfiction sometimes is something that really excites them. So he loved those. We also read this book, The Heartwood Hotel. Oh my gosh. Guys, you should read this, especially if you have kind of these ages. This was such a sweet story. It was about a mouse looking for a home, and just all sorts of stuff happened. So it's just really sweet. And then we're currently reading Humphrey, The World According to Humphrey, and it's just really cute. It's about a hamster in a classroom, and it's making my kids and kind of me want to get a hamster as a pet, but it's so cute. So they're really enjoying that book. And then as for what we have read at night, we read Frankie Sparks and the Class Pet. We really liked it. It was super cute. We loved this book. Laugh out loud. Loved this book. And then there was parts, like chapters, that just made me cry. Like I couldn't keep going. My kids would like pat me and be like, "It's okay, mommy." But it was just so funny and so sad, and such a good book. I recommend this to, I just recommend this to anybody. It's called Adventures with Waffles. I forgot to say that, but I really, really like it. Oh, and then as for audiobooks, like I've mentioned in the past, my son likes to listen to a lot of audiobooks. He's been really into the Spiderwick Chronicles. So he's been listening to those on audiobook, and he's been loving them. So we're trying to figure out what to read next, but I will kind of update you in these update videos what our read alouds are, and if we're liking them or not liking them, or if I would recommend them. But I also did pick up a Sonlight Science, and we did some of it. The problem was there was a shipping delay. It kept getting pushed back. Like I literally just got the box in the mail yesterday or the day before, And I'm really excited. I'm glad I finally got it. But we've been doing school for about 4 or 5 weeks now. And Sonlight graciously sent out kind of 3 weeks worth of instructor's guide as well as experiments and things like that. We didn't get the kit until just now, but I was able to make the first 3 weeks work. And so we got at least 3 weeks in, but then I ran out of stuff. And so I just started doubling up my history. And so that way I can do a couple weeks of doubled up science. That was my plan. So it's totally fine. It didn't throw me off too much. But as for if I'm liking the science, I am liking the science. I'm really liking the books. I love quick links books and some of the Usborne books. So it's fun to be able to pull up some short video clips about what we're talking about. I really do like the experiments. I think they're well done. I think they're very age appropriate. I like how they really tie into what we're talking about in reading. And it's so far been very interesting for the kids. So I'm liking the experiments so far, but we've only done 3, like I said. Although I don't love the worksheets, I feel like at first I had kind of a set for each child, my 7.5-year-old and 6-year-old, but I scrapped that. And what we've been doing is we've been working together, and a lot of it I will either scribe for them or I'll have my son do kind of it a little bit more himself, or we'll just talk more about it than we will worry about filling out the worksheet, if that makes sense. So I can kind of take or leave those, but I do think they're valuable. So I'm glad we have them. The other thing I mentioned in my family subjects curriculum video, which I'll link above, is an enrichment loop, because I didn't want to miss out on different things like music or fairy tales and things like that. But we have yet to do any enrichment loop. So I'll keep you updated on that. Like I want to, but that's the one thing that so far has kind of fallen by the wayside. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna like drop it, or if it's just I haven't picked it up yet, if that makes sense. So that's kind of all the family subjects. So next, as for my 2nd grader, he's doing great. We made one large, really big switch like 2 weeks into the school year, and that was math. And I made a whole video about it. So I will put a picture here, link it above. You can go kind of deep dive into what happened or what was going on. But we switched from Singapore primary math to Saxon math, and go see all the reasons for that. I'm not going to dive into that here. But how is it going? It's going great. It's going great. Like it is going much better. He is confident. He likes his math. He's learning his math facts. We're not doing too much. He's not overloaded. It's just the right amount. And it just practices and practices and practices and practices. That's how it feels. And I know some people that drives their kids nuts, but that is what he needed. And so it's going really, really well. So I'm super happy about that. As for language arts, that's going well too. So we're doing all about reading still. He's in level 2. He's doing well. He's doing really well at reading. We haven't quite got to the point where he can pick up books on his own yet. He hasn't like taken off, if you will, but he can read really well. I mean, he's reading the level 2 readers, and a lot of the extra readers that I've picked up, he can read. He's just still needing to read to me and kind of help, because we haven't gotten to some really important phonograms quite yet. In All About Reading, I'm anticipating by the end of All About Reading level 2, he'll have most of the tools he needs, and he'll probably be able to take off at that point. But we're fine. He's doing good. He's progressing. We did start All About Spelling. He's good at spelling. Like, even though reading has been more of a challenge, I feel like spelling is something that he kind of gets. He never inverts his B's or D's or worries about that. He always gets those correct when he's spelling. He constantly flips them around when he's reading or struggles to see which one it is. So his spelling's really pretty good. And so we're enjoying All About Reading level 1. I like that the programs actually go well together. I recommend that, because we do them at the same time. So then he only has to do his phonogram practice for one program and not the second one. So it kind of makes it a little bit more streamlined, if you will. And it uses similar tools, so it all clicks with him. So I'm really glad I decided to go with kind of those two together. And then it comes to kind of the grammar, creative writing sort of sections. So I had planned to continue with Well-Trained Mind stuff. So first language lessons and writing with ease, because I really like the programs. They're good. So what happened is I listened to this presentation on Sonlight Language Arts. It tends to be more natural, more gentle, and I knew that I couldn't use it for reading and spelling. I love All About Reading, All About Spelling. But I really liked the idea of how they approached the creative writing and the grammar, using a lot of copy work, but also the creative writing was kind of on this like looping approach. Like they would just keep coming back to it every year, keep coming back to ideas or highlighting different aspects of the grammar. They kind of just keep hitting upon it. And I liked that. I liked kind of the approach to the early writing, which was a lot of them more brainstorming and thinking about ideas and coming up with ideas and me acting as the scribe for them. And that's worked really well. And I've occasionally even like typed up their stuff and they just thought that was so cool that they could just print it out and go show their dad and things like that. And I was tempted a lot because I'm really enjoying Sonlight and I want it to keep going. I think in one of the higher levels, I think it's HBLD, that's when the individual readers start tying into the history and then all of the grammar and the individual readers, it all kind of goes together. And so I feel like it's set up so kids can kind of go at their own pace with reading and spelling, but then it hits a point where all the grammar and writing are utilizing all of this wonderful literature, which is just fantastic. And I love that about Sonlight. And so I really like that idea. So I'm trying to give the Sonlight Language Arts a try, even if I'm technically using like a third of the program at this point, because I will not leave All About Reading because that's working. So anyway, that's what I decided to change is I put the Well-Trained Mind stuff on the shelf. I didn't get rid of it yet because I did like it, and it could be something we go back to in case the Sonlight Language Arts doesn't work, but I am liking it so far. And I will keep updating you on how well my kids respond to it as we go throughout the year. As for my first grader, so she is a 6-year-old as of this past summer. So I feel like she's kind of straddling late kindergarten, early first grade in kind of her skills. Except when it comes to math, she's pretty good at math. So what I decided to do with her is I also switched her to Saxon math, mostly just for the ease of use. I went back and forth on trying to decide if I wanted to keep her in her own program because she does pretty well with the math, and Singapore math is a little bit more advanced than Saxon. But I like the idea of using Saxon kind of set a more solid foundation. I liked kind of its foundational work. And so I just decided to switch her over. It is easier for me to just balance one, and I'll just kind of watch her. If it seems like she's really bored or not enjoying it, I will switch her. But I also have the idea, which was recommended by a number of you, which thank you all for the comments, of supplementing her eventually with like a math mammoth, which is similar to Singapore math, but I guess a little bit more straightforward. I'm not sure, but using that as more of a supplement or a practice, or like maybe here's another way of looking at the problem since she is a little bit more conceptual in her nature. So that's a plan for kind of down the road, but I decided to switch her into Saxon Math 1 for this year, and she's going at about 2 lessons per day. So she's doubling the speed because she can handle it. It's not too bad. And I've heard from other Saxon moms that it tends to be like a year or 6 months behind. So I'm kind of going a little faster for her. And then as for language arts, so with All About Reading for her, we ended about lesson 26 of level 1 when we took our summer break in June. And then we started back up end of July at lesson 26, and she wasn't having it. She's like, I can't do this. It was major tears. It was just too hard. So I just started over. And so that's the beauty of how I'm using the All About Reading program is I just took the activity guide and I put it in page protectors, so I didn't have to repurchase anything. And so I just went back and we're just going through the lessons again. I restacked her cards. It's been so much better. Like, it's building more confidence. She's getting back into it. She's capable. I think it just went a little too fast, and we'll be fine. Like, she'll just go through level 1 this year and level 2 next year. So she's at a good pace. She didn't need to be where she was. It's not like I feel behind with her. So I thought it was a really good choice to just be like, this isn't good. She's pushing back, and just give her a break and allow her to kind of practice those skills a little bit more. So that's been really good. And then I'm also using Sonlight Language Arts with her, kind of same thing as her brother. I'm just using it for the creative expression, copy work, early grammar. I started her in the K, Language Arts K program, but I'm doing it a little faster just to kind of get her caught up to where her brother is, but it fits her just fine. So I'm happy with that. And again, I'll talk more about that as we get more into using the language arts for Sonlight. Okay, as for my twins, my almost 4-year-old preschoolers, you can see in their curriculum video, which I will also link, I picked Abeka and the Sonlight preschool program to use kind of in combination with them throughout the year over the next couple years very loosey-goosey, to be honest. And I haven't really even done that much with them so far, just because we were on-ramping, and now we're getting into kind of more of a solid schedule with starting preschool and starting the enrichment school, that now I'm starting to add some things for them. And so just to pause, like I said, I put them in preschool for 2 days a week in the mornings. 1, to help me out so I could teach the big kids. 2, just to give them a great environment where they have teachers who can love on them. And we have this wonderful preschool, and that was what some of the moms in the neighborhood said, that it was like, do you want somebody to just love on your kids? And I was like, yes. It's not strongly academic. Yes, they do academics. Yes, they do singing and outside play, all this stuff. But really, these ladies are just great at loving the kids, and so far the twins have just loved it. They've only gone twice, but they have really enjoyed going to preschool, and it's been so great for me, because then that gives me those 2 mornings a week when I can have enough time to discuss things more in depth with the big kids and make sure they're really understanding their reading and their math and all this stuff. So it's just been a nice weight lifted off my shoulders. So it was such a good idea. And so, yes, they're doing preschool outside of the home, but we're also doing a little bit inside. Mostly what I've used is the Abeka Animal Friends flashcards and the language development cards. And we're just really casually using them. I usually tack it on to kind of breakfast morning time when we are doing our Bible and our calendar, and then I start kind of doing a little bit with the twins. None of it is handwork. There's no pencils involved. It's all just like, oh, here's a camel. What do camels do? Let's talk about ants. Let's talk about different things. And then they have the animal alphabet cards, and they always have a song that goes with it. Like we did C this week, and there's a song about Connie cow and all this stuff. So it's perfect for their age. So we're doing a little bit of that. I also just started reading some of the read alouds for the Sonlight preschool. They're really cute. I love all the stories. Nothing too crazy. So stay tuned for more information on the twins, because I will definitely be increasing kind of what I do with them. Maybe. We'll see. I like to play it by ear at these ages where there's no pressure of any kind in preschool, but I know they like it, so I like to do it for them. So stay tuned for that. And again, I'm planning on doing monthly updates. I hope you guys like that kind of stuff. I really enjoy watching those. I feel like it's almost like an on-the-ground look at somebody's homeschool, like as they're making decisions, as they're switching things. I like watching that process in different homeschool moms, because sometimes if you just do the quarterly or mid-year kind of updates, they've worked it all out and there's too much to share, and so you only share a little bit of some things. But if you do monthly updates, I feel like you get more kind of real life, or at least that's what I like about them. So that's my intention to share in these videos. So let me know down below if that's what you want to see. If you're all for the monthly updates, let me know, because that's my hopes that you want to see those. But otherwise, that is what I have so far. That's how the first 4 weeks, that's how August has gone in our homeschool. It's been really good. I'm in a good rhythm and routine now. It was a little rocky, but it's really good. So anyway, that is what I have for this video. I hope you are all doing well, and I will see you in the next homeschool video. All right, take care. Bye.